Hey guys, it's Stacy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do the first video. What I hope to be is a short series called Countdown to Con. So this video is going to be some tips and tricks, generally speaking, for going to your first convention. I am also hoping to do a video on things to pack to your first convention, so this isn't going to be so much about that. It's more just generally preparing for a convention. My first tip is to explore the official website through creation once you've bought your ticket. This is what I did, and I will say honestly, I find the website to be kind of overwhelming and not super user friendly, but you can still find a lot of good information on there, and I perused it a lot. I think I ended up printing out some of the like the scheduling and stuff for the convention before I went, and of course when I went to my first convention I went by myself, so I was basically doing it all on my own and just trying to figure out the best way to do things. So I do suggest exploring the website. Again, it can be a little overwhelming I think and not the most user friendly, but there's still a lot of good information on there. My next tip would be, after doing that, is to connect with people on some of the Facebook groups, and a lot of them, at least Jacksonville, has a couple of groups for just that convention, not just all conventions for Supernatural. So like there's a Facebook group for Supernatural Jacksonville, and you can find a lot of good information on there. Generally speaking, Supernatural fans are super kind and patient and willing to answer your questions. I know they were when it was my first convention and I had a lot of questions. And that's a great way to connect with people too before going to the convention, and connecting with fans and other people who are going to be there. Also, if you're trying to find somebody to like room with, you can always put out a message on there saying that you're looking for a roommate, or if you need to carpool, anything like that, that would be a good place to do that. And you can find a lot of good information on there from people who have done these conventions before. My next tip is to map out and research like your hotel. I didn't stay at the hotel where the convention was for the first two. This is actually my first time this year that I'm going to be staying at the hotel where the convention is. It's just been too expensive, at least on my own. So, and I have a friend that lives in Jacksonville, so my first year that I went to JaxCon, I stayed with her and I just commuted, and it's definitely doable. But I think if you can afford it, I think it's going to be a lot more convenient to be able to stay at the hotel. I did save quite a bit of money, but of course you are taking up time. You have to think about paying for parking at the hotel every day and finding a parking space, which can sometimes be hard. And then you have to think about like what you're going to do for food. Like if you stay at the hotel, you can bring food to your room, which is what I'm going to do this year. Otherwise, food gets so expensive, either eating out or just trying to find food at the hotel. They'll have food sometimes, but it's mega expensive. So just do your research for the hotel and where you're going to stay, and if you're going to drive. Again, it's definitely doable. I've done it 2 times now where I've commuted from different hotels or a friend's house. So just make sure you account for traffic. These cons do tend to be in cities. This one's in Jacksonville, which isn't as big of a city, but I did do one in Orlando, which can be more of a hassle if you have to take, the interstate and stuff. And of course, if you are commuting, or even if you're not, you need to make sure that you're accounting for parking. Sometimes the parking spaces can fill up, and it does usually cost money to park at the hotel. Also, this might even need to be a whole separate video, but budgeting, or trying to save money when going to conventions. Maybe I'll try and do a video on that. I think a couple of other people have done them too. But make sure you budget for what you want, or just bring a certain amount of money, because it's super easy to get wrapped up in the merchandise or just buying separate autographs or photo ops. And those are, if you have any idea, absolutely not cheap. So just make sure you're budgeting, or if you want to buy a photo op, do it in advance and maybe kind of limit yourself. I know, or at least when I've gone to conventions, people buy photo ops like left and right, and that's great if you can afford it, but I can't. So like I've just bought 1 photo op this year. I might buy 1 more, but then I have to like put a cap on it because it's just so expensive. So just make sure you budget. I usually do buy 1 or 2 things at the merch. I don't go crazy, or at least I try not to. You're going to see tons of stuff that you like, and those merch people are going to be there all weekend. So I wouldn't just go the first day and then like buy a bunch of things, just offhand, because then you might regret it later. Give yourself the weekend and see what you really want and then buy it. I mean, of course, if you see something that you know you're going to want, like I got a tour t-shirt there and I bought that because I didn't want it to sell out, but just be careful as far as getting caught up in the moment and making sure that you are budgeting for what you need. Also, I think it's really great and helpful to prepare the items that you are either going to get signed or like preparing for your photo ops. I know ahead of time that I always prepare how I want my photo ops to look like the different poses. My first one, and I think the second one, I know my first one with Jensen, I just did like a hug shot, the same with Jared, and then when I got my second Jensen one, I did something a little different. So maybe research that, because you're going to want to have that prepared when you go in there. The photo ops are so fast, you're just kind of in and out. So you're going to want to have that prepared as to what you want your photo op to come out as, and you kind of only have, one shot to do that. You also want to prepare the things that you are going to get signed if you're getting autographs. The seats that I got, they come with autographs with a lot of the different people, so you want to make sure that you have that ready. You can get pretty much anything signed. I've seen so many different things people have signed, from photos to collectibles to pops, all that different kind of stuff you can get signed. What I usually do, because I like to try and be kind of unique, is so far at least I've gotten a picture of my cat signed, because his name is Winchester and I named him after the Winchester. So a couple of years in a row now, or a couple of cons, I've gotten pictures of him signed by a various number of people. So you just want to maybe prepare that too, because again, you're in a line and you are waiting in line a little bit, but once you're there, and you need to have what you want signed prepared. So my last tip is just to get excited, because the conventions are so fun. They're only 3 days if you go for the whole thing, but they are a blast. I've had so much fun every time. Each time I've just had more fun. This is my third one now. I look forward to it all year. You meet great people. This year I'm actually rooming with people that I met at past cons, so that's awesome. And you're just gonna have a blast, make the most of it, live in the moment, and you're gonna have a blast. You're gonna have so much fun if you're able to go to one of these cons. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Think about hitting that subscribe button below. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I can do another video for Countdown to Con, possibly how to budget or save money for a con, or what to pack to a con. So if you'd like to see that, please let me know, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!